Hi, me, Space Monkey. You listen. Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, right here on the brand new TrendingTopicsNetwork.com, and also brought to you by NEOSportsInsiders.com. Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even when you are hard to kill. And this is Wrestling Cheers, where we talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene, and we preview shows, we review shows, and we have interviews from time to time. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. And email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. If you want to grab yourself some Wrestling Cheers merch, head on over to whatamaneuver.net. Look for us, and we will be there, and you could find a shirt or hoodie or whatever possibility you want that's available right there on the website. So let's talk about AIW's Death Row last week. And who am I? I am your host. I am Heavy Set, and I'm being joined by a favorite here on the podcast. We have Young Ed.
Young Ed. That was great to read on Twitter and hear it on the podcast. It's nice. Young Ed. I like it.
Do you wish to defend yourself from things that were said about you last week?
Nope. It wasn't. I guess I like Ethan Page. I don't think that's a secret. I wouldn't say I coddle his balls, but I like Ethan Page.
Just want to make sure we have that clear, so you got a chance to defend yourself.
Yeah, no ball coddling.
But we're here to talk about Death Row, and I think the first thing that me and you had to say about this, it was a very quick show. Not quick, but it didn't drag on as late as most. And I think when I seen what time the main event started, which was right around 10:30, I was like, oh shit, awesome.
I think they learned from the Johnny show, and it's like, oh, this speech is going to go on a while, so let's plan ahead for it.
And I feel like the whole speech thing didn't go on as nearly as long as Johnny. Johnny went a good hour.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't even close to Johnny. It was still like it was a longer speech, yeah, but it wasn't Johnny Gargano level.
Well, you had other speakers, like we could kind of just get into it now because it's one of the bigger things that happened. You know, the not retirement, but Ray Rowe officially going into WWE, and this was his last match. And of course, when you have your last match, you got to have a farewell speech. And Ray Rowe is not much of a talker. He can talk, but nearly not as much as maybe a guy like Johnny could. But they did bring in one guy for a proper send-off, and that was Josh Prohibition. And if there's anybody who can talk, it's frickin' J-Pro.
Oh yeah, that was great. I hoped it was him. When I saw somebody walking out with the bandana on, I hoped it was Josh Prohibition. That ended up being Josh Prohibition. Then they talked. I found things out, like I didn't know they had a falling out. I never knew that happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was crazy to hear about. It's just, Ray Rowe. It's cool when good things happen to good people. Mm-hmm. Like that's awesome for him. He's gonna go make money. Cool. Like.
Oh yeah. And I kind of like what he was saying in his speech, how, he thought at one point there was, if I'm correct, he was like saying that there was like no hope for him to ever get signed. Yeah. And he just, started putting in more work into his career. And, over the past couple of years, like he even mentioned how just a couple of weeks prior, he walked down the ramp at Wrestle Kingdom in Japan, and how New Japan was one of the first things of wrestling he, completely fell in love with and wanted to be a part of. And, he got to live that dream. And that's completely amazing.
And he got retweeted by Taz.
Oh, yes. He got retweeted by Taz.
That's cool.
Guy that he openly admitted that he looked up to, I wouldn't say stole, but, used a lot of Taz's offense. So.
He did, and I never even, thought about it till he said it. Because, Taz is such a little man, and Ray Rowe is the opposite.
I was about to say he's tall Taz.
Yeah, he is tall Taz.
With a beard.
He's Taz Strowman.
Okay, Taz Strowman. That works. But we had the whole speech from Ray Rowe, and I was a bit surprised because you don't hear Ray Rowe talk as much, and I don't think he had many problems speaking, and got a chance to really, really speak from the heart. And I know I'm definitely happy for him, and it seems like in general, WWE has got a lot of Cleveland guys in it right now.
Yeah, there's a nice little Ohio contingent going on.
I mean, if we went Ohio as a whole, I was going more Cleveland. I mean, Miz, Dolph is still there as far as we know. Dana Brooke. Lawler grew up in Cleveland. And obviously Johnny. And now Ray Rowe. And supposedly coming to WWE, whether he's going to go Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I think it'll be NXT, but that's just my guess. And that's Michael Hutter, EC3, Derek Bateman coming back. So that's a good amount of people just from this little area that everybody looks over. And
then if you go people that were AIW roster members in general.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
insane to think about.
That part's totally insane. But if you just went for people actually from Cleveland, have some sort of connection like that, if they have a roster member, whether it be at least come through, because that's one thing that sucks. For me, I became a fan in 2011, and the amount of people that came through before I was ever around is amazing. And on the same hand, since I've been around, the amount of people that have come through here and now are in WWE, whether they were here just a couple times and didn't really know that much about them, right now in NXT, Oney Lorcan, Biff Busick, and on the independent scene, never thought that guy would get signed, but boom, there he is, and I like him.
I didn't know he was in AIW.
It was more with Beyond. When Beyond would come around, a lot of times Beyond wrestlers would get matches in AIW, and I do want to say the last time I remember Biff Busick being around was a J-Lit.
Okay.
So it made sense for him being around. I still think it's funny. You're going to hear in a couple weeks, I have El Jordano Diablo from Let the Hate Flow Through You on, and we're talking about Absolution 10. Him and his girlfriend, who was live here with us, had no idea that Samoa Joe had come through AIW and did a couple matches, and it was right around the time that he showed up. Actually, was day 2 of J-Lit was obviously the Saturday after he appeared at NXT, because that's back when the specials used to be on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, takeovers were on Wednesday. I completely forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. So the look on their face was oh my god, Samoa Joe went to AIW. I was yeah, that seems to me not that long ago, but yeah, the list is nuts.
Do you think Ray Rowe is on NXT by the time of the Cleveland show? I think it's March 3rd, so it's a little over a month.
Are you going?
Oh yeah, I already got tickets. Yeah, for sure.
Me too. What level?
Front mezzanine.
I went front. I gotta get my ringside.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait.
Part of me wants to say yes, but sometimes you get some of these wrestlers that they're not really on TV or anything for a while, and not to mention NXT runs when they go outside of Florida, they run 2 tours because they still have a tour down in Florida. Yeah,
the Largo Loop. And Athena, I think, wasn't on TV when she got signed for a year.
Was it a year?
It was close. It was a long, long time.
I can't remember the timeline for that, but I know Kimberly, it took her a while to get on TV, and she's still not on TV as much as you think she would be by now.
Yeah.
I really hope they are, but I don't know if they're going to do a character redevelopment or whether they're going to have to change the name of him known as War Machine.
Him, that singular person, War Machine.
Yep. I don't mind Rosenberg. I don't follow him. I prefer Roberts over Rosenberg. But all I look at it as, dude, you fucked up. Don't make excuses. I think his biggest thing is, well, I don't follow New Japan. I don't follow Ring of Honor. I'm a WWE fan. That's why they hired me, because I covered WWE. Okay, well, I was just oh, did WWE release a press release? Well, but there's what you need to know. Everything on that press release. Just say, you know what? I fucked up. Quit making excuses. Just say, I fucked up and owned up to it. Granted, people I know attacked him for other stuff, like, oh, they shouldn't change their name, whatever. Like, I'm like, that's neither here nor there. Just admit you fucked up something and you look like an idiot. That's it.
Yeah, you just own up to it. Like JBL, when he accidentally left his tab open looking for that very muscular woman nude pictures.
Or like, who is it, Scott Hall, who always posts screenshots? Or not screen. I should say it's that screenshots of him like taking a picture. It's like, Scott, got some other tabs open up there, and you want to exit those out before posting a picture? Of course, he don't give a damn.
Didn't JBL like go back and crop it out?
That I don't know about.
I think he like deleted the tweet and then cropped it out, but it was just too late because the internet's the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, poor JBL. He likes muscly naked women. Looking, who am I to judge?
Yeah. I do wonder who's going to be at NXT. I mean, obviously Johnny will be there because I think that's just kind of a given. Taking his status right now with NXT, number one contender right now.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's going to win it between them?
I hope not.
The NXT title picture on any of them is so hard to figure out because sometimes they're going to give it to the person that's going to help sell tickets. Sometimes it's the person who doesn't necessarily need it. I should say it's the person to help them out, or not necessarily the person that's going to be like this big deal. Like, I was actually thinking of this, how some people just didn't become NXT champion, but whenever they hit the main roster, yeah, that's when things happen for them. Or I was even thinking of the women's division. Freaking all the NXT women's champions, currently all but one who are on the main roster have become champion, and that only other one is Asuka. But then again, that's probably all in due time.
Maybe Ronda will take it.
Oh, everybody doesn't want that.
What? These people are insane. I want Ronda Rousey to win the Royal Rumble and the Women's Championship.
Dude,
for sure.
I got into a conversation with... It's a girl who follows Wrestling Cheers, but I replied back on my personal, because it was more or less, well, I'm not going to debate you on this. I'm going to debate you for my personal account. And... like, she's one of those people that was just completely against, like, oh, well, like, it's that mindset of, like, Shayna Baszler should be champion, Ronda Rousey shouldn't be champion, they haven't earned their spot, and I'm like, you want someone like Ronda Rousey to be champion. You want them to be in WWE and get the title picture. I wouldn't mind if she was the female Brock Lesnar, which I know a lot of people hate that, but Ronda Rousey probably a little bit more than Brock Lesnar of every time she's going to show up in WWE, there's going to be eyes on the product more than ever, and that could help other women shine. Who cares if they're not on the road? Like when people actually bitch about Brock Lesnar right now, like, oh, he doesn't show up and he's a champion. I'm like, well, you know what? In this amount of time, they really have elevated that Intercontinental Championship. It's kind of worth it.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone can complain about Ronda having a major role in WWE or anything Brock Lesnar's done. He's been awesome forever, for like years now. I don't get it.
I think
people just get angry, man, on Twitter. Like, it just makes people angry.
Like, the night Brock Lesnar returned was one of my favorite moments as a wrestling fan.
That was the loudest arena I've ever been in my life.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was definitely the loudest arena I've ever been in, for sure.
I would say, was that a louder pop than the Hardys coming back? But then again, it's hard to tell because that was an arena and WrestleMania was a stadium. All the sound noise goes up, but I remember that. I still remember that was a huge pop.
It sounded louder. It was nuts.
But then again, it could be just how, arenas are. All the sound stays in there. But you have an open stadium. A lot of that sound is lost up in the air. Like, I'm not saying that the Hardys one was bigger, but I think it's hard to compare, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll never forget. I would actually wonder what was a bigger pop if anybody who was there on both nights. That Raw after WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar coming back or Dolph Ziggler cashing in.
Ugh. I was just arguing with one of my friends about that Dolph Ziggler cash-in, about whether Dolph Ziggler was over during that. And I said, no, Dolph Ziggler wasn't over.
Yeah,
it was just Alberto was such a terrible babyface that whoever was cashing in at that moment, everyone was going to be super into.
I think Dolph was mega over. He had been a heel for so long, and the more of a, quote, smarky crowd was really getting behind him, and they wanted to see him cash in. I think you could have seen Alberto Del Rio lose the title the night before against Swagger, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I still think if Dolph would have cashed in the next night on Raw on Swagger, it would have been the same pop, because I think he was really over at that point. What really killed him was his injury.
I hate Dolph Ziggler.
I love Dolph. Dolph was one of my favorites for a while. And then, I hate saying it, like, he kind of got a little bit stale to me. Like, even someone who's, like, a hardcore fan, I was just like, I don't know anymore. And right at that same time, that's when Kevin Owens was early in WWE, and I was like, I really relate to Kevin Owens a lot more for different reasons than I am Dolph Ziggler. Yeah,
I've never seen it. Like, never at any point have I seen what people see in Dolph Ziggler. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I just don't. He's like a fake metalhead, and then, but he has like
before that, like, I really liked him before that, when he was right around that time of being the show off originally, when they officially changed his theme from I Am Perfection to Here to Show the World. Like, that was when Dolph was really huge with me. I wanted him to win the Money in the Bank the year before he won it, and then the year he won it was huge, because I felt like he was becoming this bigger star. But later on, injuries is what really killed him, and after that, it was kind of the same old stuff. I liked him because I thought he was a good bad guy. When he was given a chance to shine, like, I think I fell in love with him on Zack Ryder's show. Like, some of the stuff he'd say, I'm like, I really like that. Like, you're really good at this, and it's different from everybody else.
I don't think there's anything worse in wrestling than a Dolph Ziggler intense promo where he just says, he tries to get as many words in one breath as he can. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the only kind of it's when he's super serious. Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Ugh. Everything about him.
I don't know. I was just like, I liked him. Now, past like couple years, I've been like, oh, I still like you, but you really went down on my list.
Yeah, well, I'm also like not the greatest judge of talent and character because I was a real big Enzo Amore fan.
I feel like a lot of people were, but over the past like 9 months to a year, like, he's just gone downhill. Like, backstage character-wise, as far as what we hear, like, he sounds like a big fucking douchebag.
Yeah, but I'm not defending anything that he, like, the allegations of why he got fired and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying simply this right here. So everyone verbally blows Ric Flair about how great it is that, like, Ric Flair in the ring is Ric Flair out of the ring. But when Enzo Amore is Enzo Amore in the ring and out of the ring, he's an asshole. Like, doesn't make any sense. Wrestling makes no sense.
I felt like him was way more. Flair, like, earned his stripes and everything. He paid his dues. It seems like with Enzo, you know, he got cut almost right into WWE. Eventually, you know, teaming with Cass, that was a freaking huge thing. And then it almost seemed like a runaway train, especially over the last year, because that's when it seemed like it really got to his head where, like, I don't know if that's real or not. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, it is similar to Flair, the fact that we know he cheated on his wife. Or not wife, but girlfriend. I was thinking Flair wife, but, you know, he cheated on your woman.
That's true. Yeah, never mind. Fuck him. You don't cross Liv Morgan like that.
So, yeah.
She's a future superstar, so she's the future best in the business.
Hashtag SmackDown Liv.
Hashtag you only live once.
Sadly, she won't be obviously at NXT.
Oh, I know. I thought about that. Like, that was the highlight for NXT for me last time was Liv Morgan and Asuka.
Though I'm happy, on a side note, they put her with the Riot Squad, because I don't know, like, towards the end there in NXT, I'm like, oh, I kind of like you. You're kind of like physically a little bit like Carmella, but yeah, I mean, you're your own thing. But there was like nothing that stuck. And then putting this whole thing with like, oh, she's with Ruby Riott and they're together. I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. Now it gives me a reason to like you.
Yeah, that stable makes no sense. I love it.
Which
that is just three people. That is the best.
Which that stable can bring us back to this card because Sarah Logan is engaged. I forgot about that too. Rowe mentioned in his promo or speech at the end about how it was through wrestling that he met his fiance, the woman he's going to marry, and completely happy for those two. And I think it was like I mentioned last week, how we had 2 signings at the same time that was going to reunite 2 couples, like maybe would be all under the same umbrella. Yeah. We have, the wrestlings, we have the Garganos, and then now we have Rowe and Sarah. So they've lived together, but you know what I mean? Like, now they both work for WWE, probably eventually down the road they could travel together and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, Candice is going to wrestle women, so that's going to be weird.
Before we get into this card, did you hear the comments from Sunny?
No.
I would look them up, but like, she had things to say about like Candice already called her ugly and all this stuff, downgraded intergender wrestling. And okay, I'll admit, of any female talent, because she wasn't necessarily much of a wrestler, but of any female talent in WWE, Sunny is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn that she did a porn. I don't give a damn that she does Skype videos. Great. I would say I can see her naked, but you could see her naked back with, she did pictures with Missy Hyatt. But when she said this shit, I'm like, this is the part of you, Sunny, that I don't fucking like, because you're just a female Jim Cornette. I hate this, I hate that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you know what? If you didn't kind of fuck up your life, you wouldn't be doing the Skype shows on the side. You wouldn't have done the porn. And WWE probably would have had you back for Raw 25, because in the early days, you were one of the first, between her of being a valet, manager, whatever, and you and Lunder Blaze, which I was surprised she wasn't there, but probably prior commitment.
We have a theory about Sunny on Podbean DM.
I know it, but I'm blanking.
Okay, so several times, Jim Ross has retweeted Sunny's tweets about when she's going live on her Skype shows.
Yep.
And so it's we want to know, is Jim Ross doing this because he thinks it's funny? Like, look at haha, like being ironic. I don't know, which I don't think that's possible. I don't think Jim Ross has anything that could even be considered a sense of humor. So my only other reason is he's got to be your pimp, right? Like, he's got to be taking a cut. Like, she's using his high amount of followers to get that Skype show message out to more people. Like, he's got to be getting a cut.
Something.
Yeah. Is Jim Ross Sunny's Skype pimp? Yes. I think yes. Allegedly.
I know I almost quote tweeted one of her tweets or something, saying, because she was getting on the whole intergender wrestling thing, and just like any promoter who books intergender wrestling is, and I forget exactly what she said, but I almost tagged AIW and John Thorne. Is like, well, time to officially get a new commissioner.
Yeah. We know Sunny didn't book those matches in AIW.
Anyway, enough talking about all that stuff. We've taken up a lot of your time talking non-AIW, but we have AIW Death Road to go over. Luckily, like I said, shorter card, only 8 matches, but I think refreshing of how short it was. Like, I hate saying that, like, oh, it was shorter, that was better. But I don't know. There's some shows that when we get down to the 10th match, I know I'm fucking beat. And at the end of this show, I was kind of like, feeling pretty good.
But this show didn't need to be longer. You know what I mean? It was perfect length for this show.
It was. And we started off with Thrash. I don't know why I say Thrash Justice, trying to say his Twitter handle, even though I'm not looking at his Twitter. Matthew Justice defeating Shane Mercer. What did you think about Shane Mercer's AIW debut?
I think he's Lil Sheamus.
Okay.
He looks like Lil Sheamus. And that's my biggest takeaway. He's all right. I don't know. I didn't have many thoughts about it. It was nice seeing new people, and I think he did well. This is my first time seeing him. I have no idea who this man is.
He's someone that I've heard the name of, but I didn't know much about him. I believe he has been in like IWA Mid-South, and I hope he comes back. I hope he's in the J-Lit. I hope he's in Gauntlet. He's a guy that I'd like to see more. Like, especially starting off with Matthew Justice. I extremely enjoyed the match. I think everybody that I knew who had seen him before had told me, like, you're going to really like him. And, yeah, expectations were met.
And Matt Justice is always really good, so... I don't think he's had a bad match since he's came back. Like, I can't look at one Matt Justice match that I wasn't really into it. So,
did you listen to the AI podcast this week? AIW podcast?
I didn't. I heard or read on Twitter that it was a mess.
Oh my god! You can tell he wasn't sober, and I feel bad for John Thorne having to edit that. Because I can only imagine what's on the cutting room floor. Yeah,
I saw his tweet about it. That it would. They said something about put it up for Patreon, and then he said he's worried about legal reasons.
Mm-hmm. Next matchup, which is weird. Like, I have Kate's match.net up, also going with my Twitter, they have the second and third matches flipped.
I'm noticing that too.
Because I'm looking at the Twitter, and then it goes from, talking, Thrash Justice wins via diving knee, and the next match is Parker Pierce and Big Twan Tucker versus Weird World. They go production next, and whatever. Maybe they were getting it off Twitter, and they were, fuck those two. But anyway, we'll go with the proper order. Big Twan Tucker and Parker Pierce defeating the Weird World. And you know what? I really like the pairing of Big Twan Tucker and Parker Pierce because, Big Twan, in so many words, is like a big football player.
Yeah.
And you team him up with someone who's a partier.
Well, Big Twan and Parker had matching tag team shirts.
Yes, I was going to mention that too.
It ended one of my favorite headcanon gimmicks of Twan Tucker, because he used to wear that high school football shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And in my headcanon, Twan Tucker was a high school football star that hadn't really done anything post-high school and was really stuck on the fact that he was really good at high school football.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but now that's over, so I don't know what he is anymore. He's not a sad high school football legend anymore. I don't know what he is. He parties, I guess, right?
I guess that's going to be the thing now. You just, a lot of football players that I knew in high school and everything, they partied.
They partied, yeah.
So it makes sense to put him with Parker Pierce,
Pickle Pierce.
who basically, you could say he has the look of a guy who probably played football.
Definitely. He looks like Johnny Manziel, so it fits.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult to him, but the thing that I always wanted to see from Parker Pierce early on was, I think it was right around the time I was watching 13 Reasons Why. I think we might have had this conversation where at the end of that, in most of that series, there's this really rich, snooty asshole jock. And I felt like that's the kind of jock Parker Pierce should be.
Yeah, he needs to curl his lip more. You know what I mean? He needs to look like a dickhead.
I wonder how it's going to go forward, because now I don't know whether they're good guys or bad guys, but when they came out,
oh, they're heels. No one's cheering Pickle Pierce.
But the thing that I liked at the beginning of the match, and I was like, this could go either way, when he had the beer bong out and he was trying to get people to dump beer in. And I was like, oh my god, that's cool. I'm like, imagine that at a Tequila Jack show. There's gonna be a lot of beer. You might get the whole thing full, but if they're bad guys, they're heels, whatever, you might get some fucked up shit. You might get some people spitting in it. So,
oh yeah.
So I don't know. When I first I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool. But now if they're bad guys, I think it'd still work. And then of course, I was gonna say real quick, the Weird World, entertaining as always. Absolutely love them.
Oh, they were great. I think this is the best Weird World match so far, that I've ever seen.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put it second to Wrestle Rager 2, and I think it's basically because of the environment for Wrestle Rager 2. That fit Weird World.
Yeah, how over were they?
Over as fuck. So, Big Twan Tucker and Parker Pierce did defeat the Weird World. Next up, another fun match. One of my favorite parts of AIW, the production versus Chase Oliver and Trey Lamar. I think I had a lot of videos on the Wrestling Cheers Instagram story from this match. And Chase Oliver, I sent him one when he was doing the splash from the corner. Freaking absolutely amazing. Happy to have Chase Oliver back.
Yeah, it was cool. I like Chase and Trey as the tag team out of No Consequences. I think they work really well together. And Magnum CK is gonna have a really good run in AIW. I'm calling it right now. Singles.
I see singles. I can see tag team. I like aesthetically putting Magnum CK and Frankie Flynn together, because I've seen a picture of them post match where they were side by side. I'm like, you know what? Frankie kind of looks like a smaller version of Magnum CK. If Frankie Flynn would grow his chest hair out a lot more and be a little more tan, you know what? I think father-son right there, but these two together, I do love.
Frankie's gotten real mean in the ring, too, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
His knees, oh man.
He didn't do it as much this show that I noticed, but I know other shows, if he sees you on your phone, he'll tell you to get off your phone. Even for me, live tweeting, taking videos.
Yeah.
He's done that stuff. And at first I was like, okay, because I know there's some wrestlers out there that hate it. I've watched a wrestler, throw somebody's phone. Not too far, but or knocked it out of someone's hand while they're during the match. And okay, that's expected. But when Frankie did it, I thought about it later. I'm like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of acts out there like Maynard James Keenan of Tool, and, you know, they outlaw phones. Like, if you're caught with your phone out, even just looking at it, you're out. They try to tell people to, like, don't bring your phone in. And, like, also with him, too, he doesn't want pictures.
Yeah.
And, like, that was something I was like, I don't know if it's intentional, but Frankie's kind of doing that.
I want him to do mean shit. You know what I mean? I want him to pull at people's faces. Like, I want him to do old Memphis, like, mean heel spots.
I mean, with him and Magnum, I think we're going to see more and more of that. I don't know how long the production's going to last, but I'm going to enjoy it the whole way, and I think it's going to be creative more and more each show. Especially, I mean, we didn't get one this show. I love a Magnum CK promo.
I like the one where he eats peanut butter.
That one was great. And the one I keep wanting to mention, it was right after they formed after Absolution, but it was for the next show. I think Cool as Ice. And, not Absolution, but it was after Cool as Ice, going into, I think, Hell on Earth. You know, it's the big group one, and it ends with Magnum CK, and he starts off saying, words, words, words. Every time I hear it, I've never got a chance to mention this, it almost sounded like he was doing a promo on that At Words 80 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when I first heard, like, words, like, oh my god, he's cutting a promo on words, oh no. And it's like, oh no, he's talking about words, okay. And, you know, the production defeated Chase Oliver and Trey Lamar in a fun match. The proper ending, which Caden headed down, is Frankie Flynn and Magnum CK won via backcracker / facebuster combo. Frankie Flynn has referred to it as to knee or not to knee.
Oh, man, I like puns.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Next up, we had Jonathan Wolf versus Malcolm Monroe III. I'm not a huge fan of these two because, I mean, we only see them every so once in a while. I think they put on their best match in AIW. Like, for the spot, because I think this was right before intermission. They kind of killed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say. I don't know much about either of them. They just show up sometimes. Mm-hmm. Usually at music links. Jonathan Wolf looks terrible, but he's really good. And then MM3's alright, I guess. But yeah, Jonathan Wolf looks like shit, but he's really good. Like,
I don't know how much experience he has, but I feel like he's just figuring everything out. He kind of has big caterpillars on his forehead too, and those kind of add it for me. But I think the joke that I made was Jonathan Wolf looks like a smaller version. I'm crazy. I'm doing this another smaller version aspect, but he looks like a smaller version of Joshua Bishop. Like that could be his little brother.
Okay.
We know it's not, but I think it's the hair. They have similar hair.
I think he looks like a tiny Jimmy Lloyd.
Okay.
And now that just makes me sad that it wasn't Jimmy Lloyd in that match. Yeah, MM3 doesn't do much for me. And yeah, Jonathan Wolf is good. I like Jonathan Wolf all right, but I don't know, with everything else happening on this card, this match just kind of, I don't have like many memories of it, like what even happened, like.
Mm-hmm. God, when was the last time we had a 6-person scramble? Like, I know we had the 4-person scramble. I don't know if it was labeled. No, it was just labeled a 4-way. Candice LeRae, Gringo Loco, El Dorado Kid, Matt Cross at the last show. I feel like it's been a while. I'd sit here and go through all the results. We had a 5-way at Wrestle Rager 2. And
J-Lit.
Wow. Are we phasing out scrambles?
I hope not. I love 6-way scrambles. See, now that, yeah, like, MM3 and Jonathan Wolf, those are scramble guys. Like, I
mean, sometimes in AEW, that was a kind of a good thing to be in a scramble. You were still on a show. You got to, highlight your skills. And I mean, how many times do we see a guy like, Alex Daniels in one? Britt Baker was always in one for a while, and there's multiple others.
And I just think Malcolm Monroe III and Jonathan Wolf both seem like no consequences guys. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're not in the no consequences production angle, I don't know.
I thought they would do something with Malcolm Monroe III, trying to get back at Chase Oliver and Trey Lamar. And then we also had PB Smooth. I thought, try to get back at the production, but instead, he teams with Swoggle and becomes a champion, tag team champion. Move on to No Consequences in the second version of No Consequences versus the production. AJ Gray, Garrison King, and Joshua Bishop versus Colby Red, Derek Director, and Eddie Only. And No Consequences won this one.
Yeah, AJ Gray is a crazy person.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Except he won't do death matches. He has openly said that he will not do death matches. And the death match that I've jokingly said I want to see is AJ Gray versus PB Smooth. Only because they both don't want to do a death match.
What is he them both try to not bump in glass and not try to not bump it? Yeah. Like Grado, have you ever seen that from Bound for Glory this year?
I think so.
He goes up like a big old sack of shit for that black hole slam on the barbed wire. And I don't blame him. I'm not making fun of him. I wouldn't either. That would not be a thing I would want to do. Sounds terrible. Yeah, never mind. I'm on AJ Gray's side. I wouldn't want to do a death match either. That sounds awful.
It was AJ Gray, Joshua Bishop, and Garrison King won by Cradle Tombstone.
This is my first time seeing Eddie Only wrestle.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought he was very good.
I think he's the perfect person to add to the production. I think if they were going to do anybody else, I don't have a person set in mind, but I feel like their responsibility would be the understudy.
I mean this in like a complimentary fashion. Eddie Only totally looks like a shitty little stagehand. Like, perfect.
When I first, and I think I've mentioned this on the show before, when I first seen Eddie Only, I thought he looked like he could be Worldwide's little brother.
Statewide.
Yeah. I think of the joke that I made too. Statewide. Just like when I first seen Team Money, I thought he looked like Uha Nation. I'm like, who's this? Uha County? But I do love me some Team Money. No fuck-ups at this show either. No.
Oh, I like Derek. Derek doing a bit of directed during this match.
I love Derek too, just in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say like I have a favorite person of the production, because I love Derek, I love Frankie, I love Magnum, I love Colby, and I love Eddie. They're all great. Though Derek loves the videos that we take on Wrestling Cheers for the Instagram stories, which I'll throw it out there one more time. I forgot to plug it last week, but like I said, follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. I tried to post as many, Instagram stories. I try not to make it be too continuous, because there was someone who was kicked out of the show for recording. But granted, I think they were like FaceTiming with someone throughout the whole show. And, they were obviously, you had the camera on the match. So I know he eventually got kicked out towards the end, which sucked. They waited literally I was almost to the end of, Ray Rowe versus Keith Lee. And some of us who noticed him getting kicked out, I was kind of like, man, I like this match, but this match that's happening over here, because the dude would not leave. So, if you come to AIW, don't record. Yeah, we record snippets. I was told, before Biggins passed, straight from him, because I was wondering, what's the deal? Can I take little videos? What is it? He's like, snippets are fine, but not full matches. Or I think what I did too is, if I post a video, I try not to have the finish of the match in the video. Like, normally when it comes to a lot of pinfalls, I'll purposely stop at 2 count if it isn't already about to stop. Because if you want the results, they're going to be on Twitter. But watching it, then if you want to actually watch a lot of the finishes, just buy it. Did you notice the guy getting kicked out?
No, I was so into that main event that I didn't notice any of that going on at all, actually.
Yeah, and you had a bird's eye view, because it was hard camera side. Right in front of the hard camera.
Yeah, I had zero clue. I was super into that match.
It's this big Mexican looking dude, and Joe asked him, I watched him go over. He was like, stop recording. Guy was like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I paid for my ticket. Eventually Joe's like, get out. You're gone. And the dude kept fighting him to leave. And obviously we got a security guard, and he went and got the security guard, which I think was a different security guard at this show. But they eventually got the dude to leave, and supposedly I had read on Facebook and Twitter, he's threatening a lawsuit over getting his money back.
Cool.
Stupid fucking people.
Speaking of stupid people, there were people heckling Ray Rowe. What the hell was that about?
I don't know. There was a dude behind me.
It was right near you. What the hell was that about?
I don't know. I've seen that guy before. I don't know his name. I don't know if he just doesn't like Ray Rowe. I mean, there was a lot of people rooting for Keith Lee, which, hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That guy was going into it way more. He had some sort of axe around, because I know he was, during his speech, the dude, I guess, walked away, went to the restroom, grabbed some concession, and came back. And I could clearly hear him say, oh, he's still talking? It's like, really, dude?
And then there was the equally confusing people that were yelling at Keith Lee about how he doesn't matter because he's not going to WWE.
Really? I don't think
the worst argument I've ever heard at an indie show.
Yeah. I like Keith Lee. He showed bits of personality. I know I got some video where they were like right in front of us, and like Keith Lee got caught by the nuts or something, and like he had this like really good line that he said about. He's like, "This shit hurts." But going back to the card that we have to go over, I thoroughly enjoyed the next match. Dominic Greeny versus Juice Robinson, and Dominic Greeny defeated Juice. I said it on the preview. It's like big match Dom, and it's not a slight against him, but I thought it was awesome that he got a match versus Juice Robinson.
Yeah, this is great. I want this to keep going on all year. Keep bringing in big names for Dom to beat. I'm into it.
I want Juice to come back.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either.
I had heard that he might, but nothing's official. Which, we could talk about this, because did you hear what was announced on the AIW podcast for JLit? Not no. JLit, for April show.
No.
For the 420 April show, which I figured was coming, the special guest is going to be none other than WWE Hall of Famer, The Godfather.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Or Papa Shango, or
because
Kamala.
Of blunts and whatnot. Yeah.
I'm just wondering what they're going to name that show. Like, because what I do for this show is I have like a lot of episodes planned out. Cause like
that's the rap show, right?
Yeah, that's the rap show.
Then did you name it The Chronic?
Do you name it The Chronic? It's not rap, but I'm like, part of me wants to go Up in Smoke. I mean, that's more Cheech and Chong, but it was the Up in Smoke tour.
No, it's got to be named The Chronic.
But like I was saying, I have episodes up to like April planned out, and I have figured like there's going to be a 420 show. And right now, it's in my phone as AIW 420 show. I wish they wouldn't have did next episode. Oh, I thought about this at the show. You know what the match that AIW really missed out on doing? Rowe versus Joey Janela. Have it at the rap show. Have it be Death Row versus Bad Boy.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd have been great. Damn.
I know. Freaking, I thought about it like I think in the middle of Ray Rowe's match, or maybe right around the entrances. Like, oh my god, that would have been so cool. But
damn, that would have been perfect.
Dom killed it in this match.
Yeah, he did. Juice Robinson did awesome too.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember which one of them took that disgusting power bomb.
I want to say Dom, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think it was Dom. Ouch. Ouch. Ouch.
I did find it funny that around the beginning of this show on Instagram, we got a follow from Dom's girlfriend. And I was like, oh, because I do probably know I do live videos, and you're gonna watch like not live videos, but I do Instagram stories, so you're gonna get to watch his match without even showing up. So I made sure I threw in some extra ones of that contest. Dom deserved the spot, and he won via armbar.
Yeah, like I said, I'm into it. Let's bring somebody else in from New Japan. Let's bring Michael Elgin back. Let's do Dom Michael Elgin next.
Do you think we'll get him? Like, when will everybody be over the incident that happened? Which I don't want to.
Oh,
like,
wow, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, because it's like I don't want to say like, oh, like when are you guys gonna be over? But it's just like, okay, this is kind of what does happen in Hollywood and not even Hollywood, just in general, where people eventually forget. Or they look past it over time.
Yeah, I totally forgot that was a issue.
Yeah. Like if you ran into Hulk Hogan right now, would you think, oh, you said the N-word on a sex tape? You'd go, no, that's Hulk Hogan.
No, I'd have to ask him all kinds of questions about his 2002 comeback run. That's my favorite Hulk Hogan. There's some random like Hulk Hogan William Regal match that happened on Raw around that time. It's great. It's a weird Hulk Hogan run. I loved it.
Next up after this match, we had a fatal four-way for the number one contendership of the AIW tag team titles. To Infinity and Beyond versus the Young Studs versus PME versus Dedication Personified. And we had I don't want to say the re-debut, but we had the return, here's the word I'm looking for, of toilet paper being thrown at Dr. Dan.
Yeah, that's rude, people. That's a college graduate.
Some people just don't like him. Or maybe they think he needs toilet paper. I don't know.
Maybe they are being nice. I don't know what their deal is. I respect you, Dr. Dan.
But it was Dr. Dan and Brian Carson getting the last lap by stealing a pin from PME to steal the win. So
yeah, this match was fucking great.
Oh yeah.
I liked it a lot because it accomplished two things. All right, it had like the shocking ending of Dedication Personified winning it, But this was definitely the Philly Marino coming out party. This was great.
Like, when they won, my jaw dropped. Like, I did not fucking see that coming.
That's the team that I thought had no chance of winning.
Yeah, I thought that too.
It's just, I'm glad. That's awesome. Like, and it's not to infinity and beyond.
That was the other big thing. Obviously, To Infinity and Beyond does not get their instant rematch, which I don't know if they will or won't. Things work weird in AIW. Sometimes you get your instant rematch, other times you don't. So, or they're waiting on their rematch. Who knows? But so then we'll eventually see whatever we want to call PB Smooth and Hornswoggle going up against Dedication Personified.
Yeah, when do you think that'll happen?
Maybe Emma show?
I was thinking more Akron.
Or that. And I didn't think about it till now, but it's going to be really interesting because Hornswoggle last year was just with Dedicated Personified.
Yeah, those are his boys.
Yeah. So now he's with PB Smooth and he's tag team champion. So really looking forward to that match now.
Yeah, that just added a whole extra thing to it. That's cool. Cool.
Then it was 10:30 at night, and it was time for the main event of the evening of Death Row. Keith Lee versus Ray Rowe in Ray Rowe's final independent wrestling match. Ray Rowe from Cleveland, America, and Keith Lee beat Ray Rowe. I loved this finish.
Oh yeah, where they were just two big burly dudes just beating the shit out of each other to the point where they passed out on each other.
Yeah, Rowe hit
2
Death Row knees, and Keith Lee falls on him, and they're both out.
It was just too much.
It was 1, 2, 3. I loved how that was done. It wasn't a clear victory, just cleanly Keith Lee defeating him. It was just two men beating the shit out of each other. And that's what pretty much the whole match was. Like, there was the one part at the beginning of the match where Ray Rowe openly said, and that concludes the the technical wrestling part of the evening. Because then it just turned into two burly bastards beating the shit out of each other, and it was Ray Rowe using up his last bit of energy to finish off Keith Lee, but it also finished him off, and just probably one of my favorite endings to a match in a while, not counting stuff with Donst and Gage.
This match might be my new favorite AIW match I've ever seen.
What was your previous?
Strangely, and I know it's probably nobody else's, but I just love the whole story behind it and the finish and everything. Ricky Shane Page versus Ethan Page from Hell on Earth for the title.
Okay.
I like the fireball spot. I love weird heel Ethan Page. I love just him yelling at fans the whole time. It's like peak heel Ethan Page. And yeah, the fireball. It's awesome. But yeah, this is probably my new favorite AIW match. This was great. I want Keith Lee back at every show, and I want him to go after every title all the time. He's amazing.
Two of my favorite matches were Marion Fontaine versus Chuck Taylor and Marion Fontaine versus Rockstar Spud. Both are on AIW's YouTube page.
Is the Spud one on there? I've been told by a couple people to check that out.
Oh, it's so good.
I got told I'll really dig it.
Because that's back when Rockstar Spud in TNA was more comedy. The next time we seen Rockstar Spud, he was more of a dick, more of a heel, which was fine, but it was kind of cool that we did get to see two different sides of him in AIW. And the match with Fontaine is fucking hilarious.
Do you think he'll be with EC3? Because they're both in NXT. Like, if once EC3 signed, because Spud's there, right?
I think Spud will be more 205 Live. I think EC3, my prediction, because he does still have matches to be aired for Impact, I think he's going to be at TakeOver New Orleans. He's going to be the dude in the crowd.
Okay.
They've done it with, was it Drew McIntyre? They did it with Bobby Roode. I think it's going to be EC3 this time. And then he's going to spend like a year or so chasing the championship, defending the championship, help for drawing power in NXT, and then they'll go from there. Whether he'll be EC3, beyond me, but I think that would be the cool thing, to see, have him be the guy at TakeOver New Orleans. You
think Keith Lee's going to be in the J-Lit?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think he seems like a good fit for it.
Before I forget, what was one of your favorite Ray Rowe matches in AIW, if you had to pick one?
Jeff Cobb.
Mine was, I think, from the same year, but Pentagon.
Yeah, that one was solid, too.
It was a bit I think it was a bit short.
It was short. It was a short match.
But it was also, Pentagon came out, and then as soon as Rowe comes out, Pentagon attacks him, and it just went from there.
I'm sad we'll never get Hansen now in AIW.
Dude, that's the other thing. I really wanted Hansen. I mean, granted, when I took my picture with Ray Rowe at the end of the show, it was my joke that I was doing my impression of Hansen. But yeah, I always wanted to see War Machine in AIW, but I don't know. Maybe it's I haven't found out, but maybe it's just hard to get Hansen in, or maybe to get them together, Ray Rowe's a higher rate. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, it breaks my heart. Maybe NXT Cleveland.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
And yeah, after, that match, we had a great promo from Ray Rowe, and also before that, Josh Prohibition. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. Ed, what would you rate Death Row out of, what is our grading system? I'm trying to remember, do we do letters? Yeah, we do letter grade.
Okay, a letter grade?
Yeah.
I am going to go with a B minus, but it's a really, impressive B minus. Nothing spectacular really happened besides, the main event. But the rest of the undercard was also, nothing was bad either. So, yeah, a really solid B minus.
I'm going to give it an A minus, B plus, because I felt like the show flowed really nicely. The fact that it was only 8 matches, and by the time we got to the end, I wasn't, just so tired.
I'm giving the length of a show a fucking A.
Yeah. Like you said, nothing big happened. I mean, we had a, number 1 contenders figured out for the tag titles. No title matches whatsoever on the card. Thoroughly enjoyed both versions of the production versus No Consequences. And, Dom and Juice freaking killed it. And also, the debut of Shane Mercer was very entertaining. So, yeah, I give it a kind of like an A minus, B plus type thing. All right, that will do it for us. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs? Young Ed.
Check out Pod Van Dam. We're going to have some episodes recorded, so we're going to have those out. And we're going to have t-shirts out soon. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Follow us on Twitter at Pod Van Dam. We got Facebook, probably. I don't keep track of that. That's not my thing. Yeah, that's it. Pod Van Dam.
I'm not even sure how often I see updates from Pod Van Dam on Facebook.
Yeah, it's just not a... yeah, I wouldn't even know how to update it. I haven't been on Facebook in 7-8 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Probably on mine every day. But then again, between promoting this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it's kind of need to be. All right. Of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Twitter. You can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Wrestling Cheers, Facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, Twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, and Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Like I said, email if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe on wherever you're listening to us on, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check out all the great shows on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, What's on Fight, Eurovision Showcase, Legends on Siren Radio, Old School at the Movies, Trending Topics Network at the Movies, View from the Fourth Row, and Chill, 450 Podcast, and much, much more. And check out all our friends that do podcasts and have things out there, such as Macho Man Radio, Chris Clem's Cavscast, Wingcast, a Wingman podcast with Steve Guy, Let the Hate Flow Through You with Jeremy Shear, a little podcast called Pod Van Dam, The Road Home from Wrestling, weekly wrestling podcast. Check out the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. Hopefully, when my tax money comes in, might be paying for a couple new logos to be done. Also, check out Thrift Store Jobber on eBay, Instagram, Etsy, and all his other social media links that you can find out there. Check out our friends at Rebel Life Media and NEO Sports Insiders. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and sometimes we throw toilet paper at you.
Oh, it's mean. It's mean.
Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody